I just saw the 1939 French satirical comedy drama The Rules of the Game, directed by Jean Renoir and written by Renoir and Carl Koch. The Rules of the Game stars an ensemble cast as upper-class French aristocrats and their servants, sort of like an older French version of Gosford Park without the murder mystery. Instead, we see a tangled web of love interests. Famous pilot André Giraud is in love with former fling Christine, but she's been married for 3 years now to Robert, the Marquis de Chesnay. But he's having an affair with Genevieve. Meanwhile, Robert's best friend Octave, played superbly by the director Jean Renoir himself, is also in love with Christine, as is Monsieur de Saint-Aubin. And not to mention, Christine's maid Lisette, who is married to the groundskeeper Edouard, is also involved with a gaggle of guys, including poacher cum domestic servant Marceau. It's hard to keep track of it all, and to be honest, the first half or more of this movie is simply setting up the dynamics between all the different affairs, which I found rather boring and not terribly funny. However, when everyone, as well as a bunch of other silly characters, are all invited to the Marquis's country estate for a weekend of partying and hunting, where I have to admit I didn't at all like the hunting scenes because it looked like they were really killing rabbit after rabbit and bird after bird. Hey, I'm neither a vegan nor am I squeamish, but I honestly don't like seeing animals get killed. I guess they didn't have such qualms in 1939. Anyway, the climax is where things finally get to a head, with folks arguing, fighting, loving, and dying. Besides these final sequences, the best thing about The Rules of the Game is Renoir's direction. Fairly new for a movie this old was his excellent camera movement as he follows the action of a plethora of characters all moving in and out of the shots constantly. The blocking and camera work were at times ingenious. For example, the extensive use of deep focus and long shots during which the camera is constantly in motion. As I mentioned, something that was fairly advanced for the time. However, despite the skilled directing, the story really didn't get moving in this until the very end. As well as that's when all the comedy kicked in. And as great as the camera work was, it didn't keep me interested for the first hour plus. And that's why I graded The Rules of the Game out at a 5.9. If you know my grading scale, you'd know that a 5.5 to a 5.9 is decent. And while for film historians, this is absolutely worthwhile fare, probably for the rest of us, it's, as I said, decent. But don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments. Now I gotta run because the next movie I want to see is starting right this minute.